starting off with a very big story. Now, as you know, all motorists across the country were struggling all week long to fill up their tanks as fuel shortage was being experienced the entire week. A spot check by The Nation shows that almost every county has been affected, with Nairobi, Mombasa and Kisumu being the latest with empty pumps. Queues at fuel stations grew longer over the weekend as delayed payments of subsidies meant to stabilize fuel prices. Now, this is something that shocked all of us, you know, and initially when I heard about it, I thought it was like a rumor. I thought like, nah. And then you go and you see the queues, it's like for a gig.
Yeah.
You know,
absolutely.
that you're so used to that happening, like when you're at a concert, when you're going somewhere, but to the petrol station, it was just... It was surprising. And then you get to the front of the line. In some cases, they tell you imeisha. And then in some cases, they tell you can't buy more than 1,000 bob. So different, you know, petrol stations have different rules. But now I understand that it's a lot better. And as of, I think, today, people are getting the fuel quatch.
You know, what usually surprises me is how every single thing that will affect other people in the world must affect us. Like, it's just a thing. We are right at the bottom of things, where corona ikitokea, it will hit us the most that it can hit people. Kukitokea na drought, it will hit us the most it can hit people. Kukitokea, like every single thing that comes out. I wonder how we are called a developing and not a third world country, because the kind of problems that we are experiencing are right at the very end of things. It's a good thing that at least now I heard the government came in between and said they're going to help restore the supply of oil. But I just hope that maybe in future, not in the near future, maybe in the very far away future, we will be at a place where we are sure that something comes up, our people, the people we have put in place, are in a position where they can protect us and cushion us from some of these things. Ndiyo sasa tena tusishikwe na euphoria ya watu umejaza full tank but you still want to mpaka ubebe na kibuyu ndio usipange line tena.
All right, well, I want to hear what Cindy has to say. So, Cindy, is that day coming soon?
I hope it does, but just to talk about the state of the nation and how people, it's becoming increasingly difficult to live in this country. Take a drive anytime to the airport and you see a lot of Kenyans are immigrating to different countries as skilled workers because it's becoming increasingly difficult to make it by here. The gap between the rich and the poor is increasing, and even now us as middle class, we've now been classified as working poor. It means that we just work to pay bills, but we don't have enough money to make investments. There's no fuel. There's no milk, guys. There are no jobs. And there's so many things that are happening, and it's coming to, you know, it's becoming really difficult just to make ends meet. Now, here's the unfortunate reality, guys. Right now, fuel is 135, let's say 134, 135. It will go up to 160. Why? Because, of course, there has to be factors. We have to remember that there is war. Most of the world's fuel, guess what, comes from Russia. That's why they're bombing people thinking, ha ha, you need us. And now they're selling fuel in rupees, not in US dollars. So fuel is definitely going to increase. For example, my dad is in Homa Bay. He's buying a liter at 200 shillings. That's the reality in the ground. So now for us, we just have to ask ourselves, what can we do to get by? Because clearly, as much as there's a subsidy from the government, it is not being felt Apochini by the guys who really need it. I don't know when was the last time you guys bought cooking oil, but 5 liters is 2K. I mean, it's ridiculous. I just refilled my cooking gas. It's 3,500. So you have to ask yourself, am I going to live or am I going to survive? So the unfortunate butterfly effect of what's happening in this country is we're going to have brain drain, and a lot of people are going to leave this country, and we're going to have a lot of unskilled labor. Not only being elected, and I'm happy to say that, but also running our institutions, and it has a really bad ripple effect.
Yes, it does, all across. Violetta?
I mean, currently right now, the supply has definitely gone low, but the demand remains the same. So what that means is there's going to be shortage, and the prices automatically are going to go high. And if you are following on what's happening in the globe post-COVID, the Russia-Ukraine war, if all of that is anything to go by, then you're sure we need to prepare ourselves for very tough economic times ahead. As much as right now we know the situation has also been fueled with the fact that our government owes some money to the oil manufacturers, but at the same time, we need to be prepared for quite a lot of hectic times ahead. But again, I'm thinking antisocial people are praying all the right prayers because, you know, last year but one, if they didn't want to go anywhere, they're like, there's COVID. Right now, there's no fuel, you know.
Yeah.
So I think antisocial people are just like, oh, we are struggling, but at least we don't have to go anywhere. But yeah,
I think the government just realized that last year, Kumbe, and the year before, they didn't need to let a curfew. They only needed to hike the fuel prices.
Yeah.
Hakuna mtu angeenda mahali.
You know, now you just want to stay home.
Yeah. And
anyway.
I feel like a lot of us are always looking for the lamest reason to stay home. And you're like, hakuna mafuta. You know, but you look for things which is true.